There I am. I was wondering, it wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking. So, first of all, excuse my voice and excuse that because I have been a little bit run down. I will be coughing and I'm going to apologize for that right now because I do. Excuse me. I got my water. I have my tea. Well, my tea's gone now, but I have my water. And yeah, so happy New Year's Eve, everybody. For those who are just joining me or those who are watching the replay, my name is Mary Jane Tracy. I'm a psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer. And I'm coming to you today just to just let's chit chat on some of the energies coming in for 2022. And that's what I wanted to do. I already did a peek into 2022. And if you are wanting that, you can purchase that for $9.99. It is a video. It's over 3 hours. And I go through a lot more of the transits on that than I do on that I'm going to go through today. So I'm just pulling up to see because I think some people are on Facebook. Facebook. There we go. Happy New Year. Okay. So a couple things. Betty White. Let's start off with this one. We'll start off with, condolences to Betty White. I didn't realize that she passed away. I was told today. And 99 years. And some people are sad about it. I'm not really sad that Betty White's passed away. I think it's just wondrous that this woman lived for, close to 100 years. She is a Capricorn. So her birthday was, I think, going to be coming up on January 17th. So blessings to Betty White and all the marvelous, beautiful, the legacy that she left, especially for women. And that was, that's very, very powerful to have a woman who started off in comedy and in acting and being able to stand alone, stand in her own power of who she was. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's, a beautiful, beautiful legacy to uphold, and even for all of us to uphold. And I think, if you think about it, I mean, she's almost 100 years old, and to live another year, to go through another year in this world would be quite would really be quite something, that's for sure. you know uh just saying. Anyways, let's take a look at a few things for this year, and I'm going to just pull out.
Anyways, let's take a look at a few things for this year.
I want to stop myself.
Anyways, let's take a look at it.
There we go. So there we go. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for all your messages. Thank you for your messages from YouTube and from the Guru Mama page. This is absolutely fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. What I think what we felt during the year, like 2021, and I did this last year. I did in 2019. I did piss off a lot of people. But a lot of people were kind of like, it's hard when you're seeing hard aspects in the heavens, and when you have to convey a message and warn people. Didn't know exactly how it would all come together, but what we do know, and through astrology, because astrology gives us a history. It's always done a certain thing. Saturn always moves a certain way. um Pluto always moves a certain way, the moon always moves a certain way. So you can sort of give you forewarning of what kind of energies are coming forward for you. And the Saturn Pluto one was a big one. And it was a paradigm shift. And when they conjunct it in January of 2020, we knew that there was tough times coming. We knew that there would be restrictions. We knew that there was something that was on the horizon. And then with the Saturn Uranus square that we went through this year, and I even mentioned to people that there's something that is going to be forced upon people that they don't want to take, but they may want to take, but I wouldn't take it because it is a Saturn Uranus square. Saturn Uranus squares has something to do with restrictions because Saturn is restrictions. I want to enforce something upon you. Uranus is, I want to give something new. I want something new. So there's some kind of restrictions that's new that was being forced upon people. Now, going back to the Saturn Pluto one, they were, when they came together, we knew there was tough times. They also had an opposition when 9/11 came, where according to the American chart, Saturn was in Gemini and Pluto was in Sagittarius. Saturn in Gemini is about towers. It has to do with towers. Sagittarius is flights. And they were exactly opposite the day that 9/11 happened, in that opposition and with the buildings. And then we had the conjunction. So we knew that there was constrictive restraints that were coming in, top down authority rules. Okay. But we didn't know exactly what it is. And there is a history. We also had where, again, with that Saturn square in Uranus and then Pluto square in Eris. And Eris is always for the the underdog. We want to fight for the underdog. Saturn, Pluto always, when they the square, or if they're in an opposition, it has to do with something that is being brought up, and usually has to do with sexuality and things that are unjust. And we have been seeing that unfold in our news. And I will get to the Maxwell thing in just a moment. So they're no longer conjunct, but they're still highly influential. And with Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, there's a feeling, there's a deep energy, almost existential fear that was coming in, deep, deep dive. And with that energy, and we're going to be dealing with a lot with Scorpio energy next year because the nodes will be changing in January into Taurus and Scorpio. So this deep dive into the Scorpio energy, and this is going to bring in a lot of spiritual transformation. And that's where we're heading into. The 3D level, it can be really, really tough. And being in this 3D world can be very frustrating and very overwhelming because we want all of these answers. We want everything answered now. We want it all to happen. We want it, we don't want to go through this crap anymore. I don't want to go through having, oh, by the way, it's an ancient illness I have. It's called the flu. Sorry. I haven't really talked a lot today. So when I start talking, I'll start coughing. Excuse me. But with the Pluto coming in and with Venus there, it's digging deep. And excuse me. There we go. It's digging deep. And as it's digging deep into, I got tinctures here too. So you're going to be seeing me taking some tinctures. I have it's a Hawthorne one that I'm taking. Anyways, so it's digging deep. So we're digging deep. And where Venus is, she's like I'm going to say a rotor-rooter at 20 degrees. And with being there, she is going in and cleaning things up. And Pluto is trying to restructure that of our world and restructure the things that are no longer in our alignment. And with Venus there, she is rotor rooting, she's cleaning up. Yes, she's retrograde, but she's going through and she's pulling up stuff that needs to be done. And really don't think about what you want. See, with Venus being there, it's like as we're heading into 2022, it's not knowing what you want to earn. maybe in the 3D world, but it's to feel. The main thing in about 2022, and you've heard, if you've taken any of my classes, you've heard me say this before, you got to feel it first and manifest it second. This year, now my cat's bothering me. This year is a year about creating and manifesting. This year is about feeling and going into the feeling. Now, and saying that could be extremely intense. And we've had 2 years of very intense, very constructive. Okay, Capricorn, construction, got to get it done. This is the way we're doing it. So, very constrained. Now, Saturn has been with Jupiter for so long, and one is like constraint and one is expansion. So, we had constraint, expansion, right? With those two. Now Jupiter has now moved into Pisces. He's moving on. He's moving away. He says he's basically looking at his dad and saying, "Fuck you. I'm out of here, buddy." And with that, has been extremely constructive. Now we're seeing a lot of that still. We're seeing it in Quebec today at 5 o'clock. I think they're under lockdown now. They're what, 2 hours? Oh, an hour away from our time of being locked down on New Year's Eve. So anybody who made plans in Quebec right now, they're totally in lockdown until January 17th. And they have a curfew. Now, Austria, Germany, and Australia have the same. So we're seeing those constraints happen. And this is going to be 2022, is going to be a year of change, particularly from about May onwards. So I think there's much volatility and turbulence, and the turbulence that's coming in. So it's not going to happen fast, like a lot of these changes that we would like to see. So the first part of the year, it's going to be turbulent. But there's a fast movement that's coming in with this too. And we have this fast energy that's coming in, that's getting us to move forward. And especially with Jupiter being in Pisces, where it's expansive and there is no boundaries. So we have this energy and it's very fast moving. And as we go through the year, we're going to have a Uranus and Mars are going to come together, and that's going to be much stronger. And the Saturn Uranus square, and we're still going to have it throughout the year. So here's what we're going to be hearing about that. Number one, you're going to hear about a mega booster shot, a mega elixir, like the elixir of elixirs is going to come through. We're going to hear more about more different types of elixirs that are going to come through. Now, Saturn has had the upper hand for the last couple years. Now we're going to be seeing, even though Saturn is in Aquarius and is the ruler of Aquarius, but usually what happens is Uranus wins out in the end. Uranus is the outer planet. He's on the outside. He wants to bring in newness. He wants to bring in something that is new. So it's a shift, but not immediate. So for the first couple months are going to be a little bit tricky. Particularly, from May onwards, we're going to hold on to our hats because that's where the revolutionary energy really starts to come in, the battling energy. And Jupiter goes into Aries. Now, I have a Jupiter in Aries. And from May 9th onwards, so forward movement instead of stagnation. The thing is about Jupiter coming in, and I'll be talking a lot about the Jupiter-Neptune coming together, is that it's bringing in a lot of change and a huge vibrational frequencies of spirituality. Now, instead of stagnation, mid-February, planets are forward. So this creates a sense of momentum. So we have a sense of momentum, a sense of movement. And at the end of January, it's strong again. So with Saturn's going to be quite strong at the end of January. So we're going to see and we're going to hear more bullshit coming through because Saturn wants control. Okay, Saturn controls time, controls karma. It is the ruler of both of Capricorn and Aquarius. Now, if anybody knows any of those two types of signs, no offense to any of you guys, but you like the control. You like things done in a certain way, in a certain order. You want things, Aquariuses usually tell you they know. You want them to do something. You're like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I know that. Thank you. That that kind of energy. So with Saturn at the world access point, more control. They're wanting to have that more control. But March, April, those are, we're heading into a very hot summer. Hot, hot summer. That could be physically hot, which I think it will be, but it will also be emotionally hot as well and transformational. And we're going to be going into kind of I'm going to call it a hot winter for 2022. So a lot of change, and we have to make our anchor. And that's going to be very important because there is going to be chaos in the 3D world. There is going to be nuttiness, and there is going to be seen, especially with Uranus and Taurus. I mean, we could be seeing things like volcanoes and earthquakes and financial markets. So we're going to be seeing chaotic things happen. So it's going to be so important to have an anchor and to be grounded and to be focused on the frequencies for oneself in order to move up to where you would like to be on a spiritual realm. Now, the best thing is to find like-minded people, and your frequency will be vibrating to create. That's one of the reasons why I'm continuing my meditation that I did throughout in December. I'm continuing that same meditation with Ganesha and Lakshmi throughout January because it's about breaking down, moving forward, and bringing in that prosperity. If you are wanting to join me, it's $25 for the whole month, so you can get a hold of me. So the best thing is to join with like-minded. Now with Uranus, and we also have Aquarius, it's called about community and collaboration. Uranus is about community. It wants to collaborate. It wants to move. It's lightning. It's electrifying, right? And Aquarius wants to bring in community. So coming together with grassroots. And with Uranus and the North Node are going to be coming together. And this is going to be in July. So, and early August. And then we're also going to have, we're also going to have Mars there with Uranus and the North Node conjunct. So we have energy that's coming in to activate us, to wake us the fuck up, to get us moving to a place that brings us to a lot of changes, especially within our belief system. So you're going to find that as we're heading into 2022, this is a very beautiful time to contemplate on your belief systems. What is in your alignment? What isn't in your alignment? No wonder you're sick. So this is looking at what, voice box under attack. I know. It's just like, no, it doesn't want me coming out saying anything. It's like, no, stifle her. This is eruptions, explosions, energy in whatever way that expresses. Right? It's coming out. Now this energy, I mean, it is because of the activation of Mars and Saturn and Pluto with Uranus there. This is very warlike, and that doesn't necessarily have to mean boots on the ground. Warlike energy can be many different things. It can be very revolutionary, where women, got the vote not long ago. Like we fought, women went out there, they protested, got thrown into jail to get the vote. to get that, right? So there was an activation that was very warlike with the energies. Last time a lot of this energy that experiencing has been in the world in 1858 to 1860, which was the Civil War in the United States. We're seeing that. We're not only seeing it in the United States, but we're seeing it in many other areas in the world, right? It means buckle up, buttercup. So, back, if you know anything about the Civil War, was about freedom of slaveries, right? You didn't want slaves. You didn't want to be you nobody should be owned. Now there's a new revolution that's coming in. And this revolution is showing you on what you can and cannot do to your body, what you have a right to and what you don't have a right to. This is part of the energies that are coming forth and unfolding. And they're still just an FYI for anybody. And there's nothing, I'm not going to hold anything against anybody getting it. But there's not enough information out there. They're still not releasing it. Now, they just released, a CDC just released today, or was it, no, this week, I shouldn't say today, but this week, that cloth masks are not good. They're also releasing that, all of a sudden, you don't have to be they're not even calling it quarantined. You don't have to be in isolation for more than 5 days. So there's information that they've had for a long time. This is all what's coming up. I said to everybody in the January, or, wait until the end of the year. Here comes my voice. Wait until the end of the year. More information is going to be released. More things are going to come forward, and it's going to shatter your reality, right? It's going to shatter your reality. And that's what's happening. People are seeing, oh my God, look at what's going on. Look at what's going on with the airlines. Look at what people, it's like people weren't allowed to work because of certain reasons, and now they got to bring them back. They're allowing people back into the system, or healthcare workers with asymptomatic symptoms, to go to work because they need them. Shattered reality. People are awakening, sort of, not all the way. Airlines are, Raylene is saying the airlines are suing the Biden administration for what's happening to the pilots. Oh, definitely. I mean, the next 17 days, the last bit, with just an FYI. Number one, do not go on any cruise ships. Just saying, don't go on a cruise ship, and don't go on any planes or anything along that line for a little bit while, because it's going to be crazy over the next 17 days. You're going to hear some crazy stuff unfolding, especially when it comes to airlines, delays, planes, even some planes having to do some forced landings. And there's also some cruise ships now that are, I guess they had to dock them. They had to cancel their trip. So just an FYI. That's South Node Sag. It deals with travel. South Node Sag is the end of the dragon. What comes out at the end of the dragon? Just say it. Just say it. South Node Sag is going into Scorpio. There's going to be a lot of shit coming out, man. And it's the tail end of the Scorpio, which is the most poisonous. So there's going to be stuff coming out. But here it is. It's like, yes, all of this stuff is coming out. But where is your focus? Where is your focus? What do you need to be focusing on? That's going to be the most important thing. What you need to be focused on. Right? That's going to be it. Thank you, Dana. My voice is going in and out. It comes in and it's good, and then my voice dies again. So we have, excuse me, this explosive energy that's coming in, and we're finding our own sense of power. We're finding our power through this. And when Jupiter goes into Aries in mid May, we're finding the leadership within ourselves, right? Steve must be happy he lost voice. Finding what works, new episodes, new earth. That's what it is. We're going to be finding our inner power. And it is up to us to create it, our focus. It's up to us to plant the seeds and focus on the seeds that we are planting and not get caught up in the chaos of the world. Just say it. And with Jupiter in Aries, it's finding the leadership within oneself and the leadership and the quality in, to remember that you are all leaders and you can have choices of what you want to lead and where you would like to go. And with Uranus is going to take the prize. Disruptions in your habits. So this is going to find out there's going to be disruptions in your habits. Stops you from getting in a rut. So disruptions from the food you eat, cleanliness, how you keep things, work, all sorts of possibilities are coming in. So there is going to be a huge disruption in how people do things on a daily routine. In the Minister of Transportation in the UK was announcing that they would like what they are wanting to promote over the next, I don't know, several years, I think till 2025, for people not to own their own vehicle. So they are going to be, I don't know how they're going to do this, but anyways, I love it when people just shoot things out. But they are going to stop for the sale of cars and have more of where a commuter car. So you rent a car for however long and whatever you need it for. And going into where they are looking at more grocery shopping. So not so much grocery shopping, online shopping. So things getting delivered to you. So trying to make those changes into something different. That's what they're going to, that's part of the premises of the changes that we are going to be witnessing. Apple too is looking at doing away with the iPhone within the next several years. Several years, next few years. I'd say by, again, 2025 is another crucial, crazy year time. So so this is not going with the heart, but against, it's not, don't go with the heart. It's like, don't, this is a time of not going with the herd. Okay, don't be going with the herd, because I mean you're just going to step on a lot of shit if you're going to be going with the herd. This energy is looking at you becoming your own individual self, the power within you igniting and allowing for that power to come in and ignite. So you got COVID or just I don't have COVID. Just an FYI, I don't have COVID. I don't do the tests. I have an ancient disease and it's called the flu. That's what I got. It's ancient. It's old. You probably haven't heard from it for a while. So, and will I get a test? I hate to tell people I will not get a test. I will not do a rapid test. I will not do any of those tests. I won't buy I just I I don't buy into it. I can't buy into it. Right? I'm not saying that it's not, like, COVID's not real. Like, I know it's real. I know people have been really, really sick with it. But I feel like the more you buy into it, or the more you buy into fear, and that's what we're going to be going into 2022. And that's what Saturn and Pluto and all of that is. Oh, yeah, the flu's a myth. You know, That's what it is. It wants you to buy into this power, buy into this over here, and your world will be fine. Well, what we're finding out now, Israel's going on to their fourth shot, and they have spikes in the two variants plus COVID. And these people are vaxxed to the hilt. And this is what I was trying to tell people. And even within, it's following the true science. Even doctors on YouTube who have been on the COVID matrix train are like, whoa, this doesn't make sense anymore. Hold on. They knew all this information because they weren't receiving all the information. This is all what's going to be uncovered. This is the energy that's coming forward. Because in order to make change in this world, things have to get dismantled. Now, the whole, yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. Healing, that has to be done. And since we're going into with the North Node in Scorpio, it's going to be huge and eruptions of sex and sexual healing. This is going to be bringing in a lot of ugliness that the world does not want to look at. But that's the only way change can happen, is with this. So remember, if you're going with the herd, you're going to walk on shit. So Saturn is focusing us to find our own unique individual expression as well, and being forced into the restrictions and getting angry about it. So to do something, to speak out. Not long ago, as I said, women didn't have the vote. So shifting for a better world for our children, not for a quick fix. This isn't going where many people saying like, oh, I needed to do this so I can continue working. And now they're finding that, holy shit, this isn't working. And this is looking at the longevity for our children and our children's children. The quick fixes don't work. We know that. This is more pivoting to the focus on freedom. We are pivoting, and we are coming into a pivot with freedom and human rights. A huge one is coming forward on human rights. And with Jupiter and Neptune, it's magical, it's mystical, but it's also hypnotic. And there is part of this, if you've been doing your spiritual work, a spiritual tsunami is coming in for 2022. Now, not everybody's going to be on all of these timelines. Your timeline line may be totally different than your neighbor's, right? And so this is where some will be still under that hypnotic. Now, with Jupiter and Neptune, the big warning here, if you have any addictions, which we all do, whether that is to Netflix, whether that is to YouTube, drugs, alcohol, food, shopping, whatever that addiction is, you have to be aware of it. And this is where I'll say right now, be honest with yourself as you're stepping into 2022. Because in April, when the Neptune and them when Jupiter and Neptune get closer, it could heighten those things that you try and hide. And this is a year of uncovering. So if you're trying to hide things under the floorboard and shove them under the floorboard so nobody will see them, this is a huge year that's going to uncover that all. And the shit's going to hit the fan. If you want to create an anchor of your own self and beautiful spiritual transformation, this is a year to do it. This is a beautiful year to really anchor down, because we have the Uranus, the connection with the divine, Neptune, Jupiter, connection with the divine, that massiveness of expansion and coming down and putting our hands into the dirt to create and plant our seeds. That energy's there. That frequency's there. It is there. Now, Jupiter and Neptune being there, and in April, the fixed signs, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, and Scorpio, and especially, I would say for you guys to look at where Taurus and Scorpio are in your chart, what is in Scorpio. And there's all my little millennials out there, you guys have Pluto in there. You have Pluto, and you got the North Node and South Node coming in there. There's going to be some little bit of disruption if you have not created a strong foundation for yourself spiritually. Just an FYI. If you have been humming and hawing and saying, yeah, I meditate sometimes, and yeah, it's okay, I connect with my angels, and I'm just going to say, it's just going to be a rough road. Spirituality is a big connection, and it is coming in with how you are connecting on a regular basis, not 80% of the time, not 90% of the time, but 100% of the time. That is going to be part of the anchor for 2022. And that anchor is going to be so important in amongst the chaos as things start to unravel. Now, fixed signs, they're strong. That's the one thing. So if you are a fixed sign, say your sun or your moon is in these signs, you're going to find that, you guys are strong anyways. You're like the bodybuilders of everything, right? Is meditation the best way to connect with spirituality? Yes. I'm just going to blatantly say yes. Honestly, if it wasn't for spirituality, for meditation and prayer are the two. Prayer is going to be huge next year too. Bringing in prayer. Meditation is within, prayer is without. Bringing that meditation in. Meditation can be with mantras. That's what we're doing right now with my meditations, with my Monday to Friday group. And we're doing a meditation to Ganesha and Lakshmi. Doing that meditation, oh my God, it is so centering for that day. Setting our intentions for the day is so, so powerful. So this is bringing in that power. And the fixed signs, we're going to find that the sense of beefing yourself up. This is about being strong. And the body, mind, and emotion that serves thoughts and frequencies. And going to be necessary for us to dig deep and find that strength. We're going to be having to find that inner deep strength, going down, getting dirty, getting spiritual, allowing for that to come forward for us and connect. And one of the things is that you can say, I am safe, I am free, I am sovereign. I am safe, I am free, I am sovereign. Have different mantras going on to help us to step into our own. And we can all go and work, and we can when there's some kind of crisis personally, we can find some strength, and that strength is going to come in and be there with us. This is where you're going to find, especially with that Neptune and Jupiter coming into Pisces, or that they are in Pisces, you're going to find that there is going to be a very psychic opening, healings coming through, more vivid in seeing energies for people with this coming in. And this is where you're going to also find that when it comes to health, as I talk here and my throat's going, but how do you treat your health? What is the first thing you do when you get sick? Are you running to the doctor? If you really have to, you have to. Just put that disclaimer. But are you just running out and saying, I need that, just give me that? This is where the change is coming. So many doctors and nurses are stepping away for reasons we know, and we're seeing them set up new holistic centers. And that's what's beautiful. That's part of that Uranus Taurus, setting up holistic centers. So now we have a Western doctor who's trained looking at holistic ways and combining both Western and holistic medicines together. So we're seeing more and more of these clinics are going to be opening up throughout 2022, 2023, and into 2025. So we're going to be seeing these clinics starting to open up more and more. And simpler foods. Simpler foods. We're growing more of your own, microgreens, and doing this with like minded people. That's a higher frequency of vibration. People being more um, conscious on where they are buying their meat, and and having their meat. You might, I mean, not to get on, I mean, I am a meat eater, so not to get on, like, you don't have to eat meat every day, but there could be that you start changing, that you're not eating as much meat, or you're watching where you're not having the processed meat, so you're being more um aware of what you are taking on internally into your body, because the nutrients within the food has been so diluted over the last 100 years that we are now looking at how can we create wholesome, good food for everybody so that we are getting our nutrients. And this is where we're, with everything that's happening and the underlying of energies that are going on, of the changes that are coming in. Neptune and Jupiter carrying the touch not to give up, to keep your dream. This is going to be a lot of visualization. So we're going to have a lot of visualization, visionary. Um, in April, I would say keep a dream journal. So setting up clear intentions and looking at how you are wanting to create. This is setting out a clear intention, stepping into that holograph and going into the feeling as if you already have it. This is nothing new. We've been talking about this for years. Now it's actually coming into action, like coming into that frequency, that vibration. It's not just something that people have been talking about for the last 30, 40, 50 years, but this is like, okay, that frequency is high, it's here. And we can do things and start to work with this in little ways. And many of you have already done that. You're wanting to find a parking spot. You manifest a parking spot. You want somebody to call, or you're like, okay, I need that person to be here in the next 3 minutes. Here they are. Or you've been driving down and it's bumper to bumper and you're saying, I have to be at so-and-so's place at 2:00. And bang, 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 you just move along. And then all of a sudden there's an exit for you to go and you're at the person's place by 2. That's the energy. But let's speed it up because it's going to be here faster. And if you are getting ill, this is the other part that I kept on feeling. If people are sick, and you call on help, that magnetic energy, that tuning in of energy is coming in, where there's going to be, especially with the Pisces energy, with Neptune and Jupiter there, a connection to Jesus, to Buddha, to the angels, even to your loved ones. We're going to find that people are going to be able to connect to their loved ones on the other side a lot easier than they ever had before, especially with that Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. So there is like almost like a veil thinning with this energy as well. So, and with this comes in multi-dimensionals of self, being able to work with self over many dimensions, many layers. and being able to bring things together in manifestation. That's where the power is. But the key is to anchor. The key is to be anchored within a spiritual practice. That's going to be a huge one with this all. And through this, just getting my voice back here, with Uranus and with Jupiter, is going to activate a lot of galactical energy, and especially Uranus. And this is going to be easier to disconnect from the heaviness of the outside world. And this means with social media, and I think some people have already feeling it already. I know I have myself. I never thought I would say that I'm backing off from Facebook. It was like I was on Facebook yesterday, and it felt like it must have been what was coming up on my feed, but it felt like a garage sale or a garbage dump. Like, here, look at all this, look at all this. It was like almost going through I'm gonna say Vegas, and all these lights are here, and they're trying to give you stuff, give you stuff, give you stuff, and I'm just like, whoa, whoa, okay, no wonder everybody's getting lost. No wonder everybody's getting lost on here. So this is where, finding those groups, and that's where a lot of work is going to be done in um is working in smaller groups. Yes, so there's going to be some pretty, of course, you're going to find people with massive names with 10,000 people in the group or a million people in the group, but you're going to find that there's not going to be the connection that you're looking for. So you're going to find that there's going to be some grassroots groups coming together to create. For me, I know there's big changes for me in the new year in how I'm going to be doing. And I kept on saying, I know there's something coming up, and I just didn't know. Like, I don't get the full picture right away. Then I start getting the feeling of it and getting the how to do. And it is how to do, get things out there on YouTube, where YouTube is an information place. Here's the information. So doing more videos that would be more informational, and maybe a once a week live presentation, and doing other little videos where I do tarot. And I haven't done my tarot reading. I don't like to touch my tarot if I'm not feeling well. That's the other thing. I don't like to touch it if I'm not feeling well. So I don't really touch my cards if I'm not feeling well. So they stay over there, and I sage them. I sage it all. And that's why people didn't get their new moon readings this week. Usually I have them earlier for them, but you probably won't get them till tomorrow or Sunday for your new moon readings. So, and that's because I don't like to channel too much when I'm sick, except for today, because they really were pushing me to come on for my New Year's Eve thing. And I was like, well, I could do it on Sunday. And they're like, no, you got to do it today. We'll help you. So God bless my angels. God bless my guides, because they're the ones who are keeping me propped up right now. Just saying. So here we are going to be going into, with all of this, is a revolutionary year and a global revolution. And this is where a lot of it is going to be taken in the United States, and energies with the United States. So there's going to be a lot of things coming up through the states. And I did a few months ago about the Pluto return, and the Pluto return in the United States, which will be February 20th, 2022. And that is pivotal. Why? When the founding of the United States, no other country was founded the way the United States was founded. They were founded where people wanted to live freely. They wanted to be able to practice their own religion. They wanted to be able to be heard by their government. They wanted to be able to stand up and have a free speech. So that's one of the things is with this Pluto return. With Pluto, when they founded it first, they had these ideas and building this foundation. Now with the return, what this says is like, have you built the strong foundation? Is that foundation still there? Or do you need to redo some stuff? What needs to be redone? What needs to be created so that you can go back to bringing in a place that is for the people? Right now, it's not for the people. Right now in Congress, they're voting on if they should be able to do, I don't know, it's basically insider trading for their own selves, for their own benefit. And that's the same way with our government here in Canada. Are they for the people? Like, is the prime minister for the people? Or is he selling us out to other countries? That's where we're going to be seeing this dismantlement from the top coming down. And that's where our strength comes in to rebuild something better, not only for ourselves, but for our future generations on how that's going to look. Right now, we're not too sure, but it's coming. That's part of the revolution. We want to take something, we want to dismantle it, but we got to look at what do we want to replace it with? What does that look like? And what does that feel like? Got to go into the feeling. Remember, it's the year of feeling. We got to go into the feeling. So, with this, we have Mars coming in, and Mars is going to be retrograding in Gemini. This is huge. So this is about relearning because Gemini is all about learning. It's all about understanding, figuring things out. This is about the truth. And so the patterns of learning and also Mars returning in the US natal chart as well. And this is also looking at documents, new amendments, transformational, political, financial. Who do you want to be and the structures you want, not only on a world view, but also on an individual self as well. We have. So, this energy, this is what, we have. It's to dig up, unearth corruption, assembly, what lights together. This is a huge time 20 all the way through to 2023 to 2025. Those are all pivotal years. And with Uranus, Mars, and the North Node in Taurus, this is going to be a very internal energy. And think about what is okay. The energy is going to be extremely fast. Jupiter, Neptune, expanding reality. We're seeing that with Apple already talking about how they are wanting to change eliminate the phone to go more into glasses, goggles, watches, all kinds of things like that. So this is where, you know, um, huge talk will be about putting microchips in people. That's going to be a huge talk, especially with Uranus and Taurus. So bringing down to the people, what are you going to be putting into the people? So here we're going to be going through, is the chip a good thing? Is the chip a bad thing? What is the moral obligation? What are our values about all of this? Are going to come through with all of this also. So this is going to be how much do we want to be naturally organic beings and forceful things to, this is what we need to think about because this energy, we can see the energy there. How do we want to create in that energy? How do you want to create to break something beautiful and transformational for yourself? So kinds of things to think about and where you stand. And this is where align what is yours and what is important to you. This is a huge division within the collective. And you got to look at where do you stand. And I was saying that all through 2020, all through 2021, on what line do you want to stand? And I know a lot of people got tired of me saying that. But this is to define your community, your frequencies, your matchup, and the people and the circumstances. all right, your own being strong. I am strong. I'm in my own with the conditions, preconceived conditions. Sometimes you might be on your own, and maybe you haven't found your group, or maybe it's just a group that you found online. But this is where you don't go into the victimhood of it. This is so important to watch how you feel about things and how you step into things and not go into the victimhood of it. Because going into the victimhood means that that's going to pull you down. So this is about you finding that inner strength and saying, okay, this is what I need to work on myself right now. What does it mean to be lonely? Do I have anxiety? Do I have any addictions? What are those addictions? What do I need to work on at this time with this? This is going to be an important piece for us to go forward, because Saturn in Aquarius restrictions, but even with Jupiter pushing away, this is looking at what is beautiful and what you are grateful for, and finding the joy and the happiness in the tiny moments. So building a frequency many times a day. And with Uranus being that beautiful maverick, bolts of lightning, things flipping, compassion, big. This is where, financial market could flip on us, you know, and you're going to find that some people are going to lose everything. And stepping forward to help them, whether you like them or not. This is coming in where great compassion, where a world event could come in and flip the whole market. There's 3 nations that hold the gross product of the world. The United States, China, and Germany are the 3 top ones. And if something goes wrong with any of their economies, could flip the whole world end over end. That's where we're going to see where we need to build our community. That's where you're going to have to come in with the compassion. And this is where you may need to help in the Piscean energy. And this is where you're not going out and you like, I want you to forgive me. That's not what it's all about. It's in allowing that to be released, that you are forgiven. That's going to be the biggest piece.
See you later.
So don't seek to be. I didn't even know you were home.
Well, see you.
So.
See you, Dad. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Love you.
I love you too. Ah. Bye. That's my number 2 son. So this is where don't seek to be forgiven.
Yeah, fuck that.
Because if you seek to be forgiven, like I need to be forgiven. If you go with the compassion, that's where the forgiveness comes in. If that makes sense. And don't expect anything in return. If you're doing something to help someone, to be there with someone, don't expect to have it, like, oh, I need something in return. This is going to be a year that's really bringing in compassion from the heart. Now, I'm going to the Maxwell thing and the January 2020 Capricorn. That was the starting of things getting uprooted and things coming, and with that Pluto square in Uranus, Eris, is about getting things coming out to the forefront, with her arrest and through her trial and her being found guilty. And I do hope she gets the whole 65 years and they don't brush things underneath the carpet. But here's where the part of the astrology is showing me that there are going to be, and this is where the dismantlement of government comes in, is that there is going to come through a lot of information, and people won't be able to ignore it anymore. Corporate news won't be able to ignore it. The producer of CNN having to step down, I think he stepped down now, and what he was saying about his stepdaughter, which is fucked up, just fucked up. And the things that were going on with Maxwell. This is coming in where more is going to be seen. Prince Andrew, I mean, this isn't going to be the first time that this isn't going to be the first time the royal family has gone through something, or the royals, I'll say the royals have gone through some pedophile bullshit, fucked up crap. But right now they are going through with things with Prince Andrew. If they hand over Prince, I don't think, I can't see him coming over to the United States and going through trial. So they're working on some kind of deal, and they're asking for all transcripts to be sealed, which they've never had to do, which they've never had before. This is where I do see the Queen passing. I don't, maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think this is going to be a lot. I think she's gone through a lot already, through with her family and her children, and the shenanigans of it all. But I think Prince Andrew is just the cherry on top of all the bullshit. And his wife going around calling on his innocence through it all. But these are two people that have been thrown into the limelight, and I don't have their charts. Been thrown in the through scandal after scandal, and have somehow kept each other's back so that they can save face and save money with one another. Griswell, I can't even say her name. Anyways, Maxwell, I'll go by. Yeah, she did have affiliations with the royals, definitely. And some of the photos and stuff like that are just, to me, a disgrace, and a disgrace to the Queen and to what they did, sitting on the throne and all kinds of other bullshit too. This is, to me, I can see there is going to be some form of toppling. That's why I really highly doubt it that Prince Charles would be in there for too long, because he's got a tainted past as well. Ooh, I just got goosebumps with that. So it's not just Andrew. Andrew's sort of the face there. But I think Prince Charles also has his hands dirty, maybe not with being a sexual predator, but in other dealings when it comes to warmongering. And that's part of the dismantlement that needs to happen. And that's what we need to have to heal, so the world can come into healing. Will it stop all of this? Unfortunately, no. I'd love to tell you that human beings can transform and we can all becoming lovely little unicorns flopping and dancing away in around the meadows with the fairies, but that's not the way it is. We come to live in a 3D world to learn the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes the ugly is really ugly. But we're coming into a year that we're going to be seeing a lot of the ugly of the uglies. But we're also going to be seeing a lot of the greatness that we can create when we come together and heal. This is a huge year of healing. And the goddess Eris, I didn't want to call her forward, but I will, who's the goddess of discord, is coming in to show you that she is the fighter for the underdogs. And Our Lady of Guadalupe is a big one that's coming through. So this is a year of miracles as well. And her coming forward with wanting to work with those who are who are not privileged, who are poor. She's also the beautiful Our Lady of Guadalupe, also works with tribal people, the indigenous people. So there's going to be huge healings that has to come through within the indigenous communities. Now that doesn't that has to happen at all levels. Not only from the ones who've done the crime, but the ones who've allowed the crime to happen for so long and who have not stood up for their own people. This is where change has to happen, because nobody's hands are going untainted in all of this. That's why we are coming through to a year of compassion and love. And having us to stand into a year of compassion and love is so vitally important. It's so vitally important for us to step in our spirituality and in our love with our divine. Whether you call your divine Jesus, whether you call your divine Buddha, whether you call the divine Archangel Michael, it doesn't matter. We're coming into a place where we are wanting to heal and not divide. But we're going to be forced a hand. It's going to be shown. We're going to be seeing this. And it's going to be, where are you going to focus on the dismantlement and still try and keep it up because of fear? The fear of, I'm going to lose. We are going to lose out on a lot. I had a question that someone asked me about the supply chain will not be fixed for another, I'd say, 2 years. So this is what comes into community. That means we got to figure shit out. Got to figure out how to grow our own carrots, or find people who can grow their carrots and barter and create the community. That's what's going to be important. That means that we stand up and we don't allow big business or corporations to say, hey, I can fund that for you. Well, what is your reasoning for wanting to fund this? This means that we start to question. That's where the strength comes through, is that we question. One of the things is that, and what I found out with a lot of this thing with the Maxwells, is that they funded camps throughout North America and Europe, young camps to underprivileged girls and boys. That's disgusting. Nobody questioned, because, oh, these are outstanding people. But you always get a feeling. Years ago, there was a priest in our church. His last name was Buckley. And I didn't like him at all. And my mother asked me, why don't you like him? And I said, I don't know, but I will not leave my children alone with him. There is something bad about him. And then we found out that he had been a pedophile and that the church moved him around. And he also sexually assaulted some of my friends. And I was so disgusted with that. And I'm thinking, like, how dare they? How dare they allow that, because of fear that this is going to cause us to look bad. Look bad so you can heal and change. That's the only way. Hiding it. If you're hiding things under your floorboard that you need to get out of there, this is a time to bring it out. This is a time to create change and to heal it, not only on the collective, but on the individual. We all have it. We all have things that we need to look at in our lives, that we need to say, hey, I got to heal that. I got to let that go. And in doing that, we begin to make a better world for our children. That's what 2022 is about. It's about activation and looking at and creating a better world for ourselves. That's where we're heading into. We're coming out of the constrictions into the spaciousness. So where's your anchor? And what seeds are you wanting to plant? It's going to be a wild ride again, but it can be beautiful and wondrous as well. So my sale ends today on my readings. You could purchase a reading. You don't have to use it right away. You don't have to be booked in right away, but you could purchase it and use it later. It's $75. Today's the last day of that sale. I don't know when I'm going to have a sale on readings again. Last year, I didn't have a sale on my readings basically till the end of the year. So, if you're wanting to purchase, definitely do that. If you are wanting a new moon reading, they're $25. They'll come out over the weekend and on to Monday. I want to thank you all for your support throughout the year. If it wasn't for any of you, all of you, I wouldn't be here still doing what I'm doing. At times it's been a struggle, a crazy struggle. It still is a crazy struggle. But at other times it's been joyous and wondrous. And I've had some beautiful, beautiful people who've stepped forward and really helped Steve and I out through these crazy transitional times that we are going through. And I thank you. That's what I mean. You might be going through something and then somebody just reaches out. And you know what? You have to say yes and open up to that. So thank you, everybody, for all that you've done and for all your support. And please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and make sure that you are getting your notifications for when I am on. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. When do you like, when, oh, feel better, honey. When you do, I like my peek into 2022. I thought I sent that to you, but I'll resend it to you. So have a blessed one, and may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless you in all that you do, in all that you say, and all that you be. Blessed be, and Happy New Year, everybody. I wish I had a button I could get things all, but there, that's my sound effects. So have a blessed one, and we will talk to you in the new year. Blessed be, everybody. Bye-bye.